All right, here we go.
Ghostbusters Afterlife is directed by Jason Reitman, as we all know is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the original Ghostbusters back in the 80s. Real quick story before I start talking about the movie. My brother and a couple friends, we went to see the movie. We're in a rush a little bit. It's like, okay, the movie starts at 9. We have like 10-15 minutes to, for previews and commercials or whatever they show. So we show up there. And the lady at the cast is just like, I don't know what happened, but she didn't know how to operate anything. I mean, anything. And we go to the cinema like all the time. And it's like she didn't know how to do anything. And everything was so slow. And we still, when we finally were at the cast and we says, for Ghostbusters Afterlife, she didn't even know the name. She didn't even know what movie that was. And we were like, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters, the one at 9. Oh, I was like, okay, that was the first one. I was like, how do you not know? Excuse me, you have Eternals, Ghostbusters, and James Bond. That's like the 3 biggest movies in the cinemas at the moment. How can you not know that? And then anyway with that. And then okay, so we ordered the seat. That takes at least 7 minutes to goddamn choose the seats. I was like with this ones, these, yes, these, yes, these. It's like seriously, and then because we have like these cards where you can have like discounts and stuff, and then something was wrong with the cards. She didn't know what happens, and then they didn't work, and we waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like we are missing the movie because she didn't know how to operate any of those machines, and all of us are just getting more and more pissed off, and we're just waiting and waiting. It's like, and then she goes and comes back again, and then what pisses me off more is like there was co-workers, like other movie clerks working there, and they didn't help. They didn't do jack shit, and they know that we want to go Ghostbusters and we're in a rush because we don't want to miss the movie. Because I was keep asking like, yo, how much time do we got? I went to the other clerk like across. I was like, yo, how long are the previews? Did the movie already start? Oh no, you still got time. It's like, okay. So I went back, and then when we finally get the popcorn, like everybody ordered some popcorn, that took fucking forever. I tell you, we missed the first 15 minutes of the movie because of that lady not knowing and taking like the time forever. At first, like, okay, she didn't know one thing, but like it was starting to get to a point where like I gotta be on camera, I gotta be punk, because this shit ain't funny no more. Where the hell is the cameras? Because this is some straight bullshit right here. You want to tell me she doesn't know the name of the movie which she works at? She knows we are in a rush to get to the movie, and she takes her time forever to give us our tickets and our food. And we were just like, I was starting to get so mad, so pissed off. I was keep pacing back and forth. I was like, this is a bullshit. This gotta be a joke. Where are the fucking cameras? Because this can't be real. I'm telling you, it was just like, I was like, God, please give me the strength not to throw that soda right now on those people because I was so close. I was like, God damn it. But anyway, we got to the movie. We got to the point. We first saw the movie when the family starts driving to the town. Now to the movie after I calmed down. But I had to tell the story because it got, that was just like, I could not believe it. This is the first time I ever had this happen to me, and I go to the cinemas a lot. Now I was very excited for this movie, because I like Ghostbusters, and after the 2015 movie, the reboot, what we got was just like basically a big SNL sketch of Ghostbusters. Which, the movie was alright. Leslie Jones was funny in the movie, but other than that, the movie was pretty bad. Oh, Chris Hemsworth, he was hilarious in the movie, the saving grace of that movie. But like, other than that, the movie was really bad. So, but seeing this movie, it was done like a way much better, because it's not characters trying to make jokes all the time, or comedy every 5 seconds. It's more like in the spirits of the first ones. Like, if something happens, it's the characters what they do. And like I said, you have the single mom with the 2 kids, played by Finn Wolfhard and Mackenzie, Anna Grace, I hope I said the name right. You know, they moved to this town because they got left that house, you know, because one of their grandfathers was the Ghostbusters. And you know, you have the typical environment, you know, moving into a new town, getting to know each other, going to school there, being like, and she's like kind of an outsider in there, but though she meets this one guy named Podcast, played by Logan Kim, who was actually pretty fun in the movie. I actually liked him. He was like this podcast and always like being a little freaked out. It was always a lot of fun. But you know, she discovers more and more about the house, more about Ghostbuster gadget, about the stuff, and you have this weird thing keep happening in the town where you have these huge earthquakes like happening on a daily basis, and that's basically the mystery that's kind of in this movie, like what causing these earthquakes and why is her family connected to that, you know, and everything. And like I said, the movie's fun. Paul Rudd is great in the movie. I really wish though they kind of would have done more with him. I thought they were gonna do something different with him in the movie than I expected. It was still fine, but it was kind of like, oh come on, you have Paul Rudd. I wish they would have him a bit more and do something more fun with his character. But it was alright nonetheless. Like I said, all the rest of the characters, Finn Wolfhard is like kind of just like there. He's like kind of just like filler from time to time. He doesn't really do that much. But when it comes to the family dynamic of the family, it's done actually pretty well. But like I said, the main character, like you said, you have this kid, and I mean she's alright, but it's not that interesting. It's like, I don't know, the kid characters aren't that interesting. And like I said, she's the one who discovers like the Ghostbusters gear and stuff, and you know, she and her friends start to become Ghostbusters and everything. You have these kids becoming Ghostbusters and everything. Fun idea, but it's not very realistically, I would say, or it doesn't feel, you know, realistic in that universe, because we have a scene where she barely can pick up the proton pack, and the next minute she's like shooting, running with it without a problem. And I feel like I don't really want the next Afterlife movie which they're gonna make, because it's Hollywood, they're definitely gonna make another one, just to be some kids being Ghostbusters. But it's actually not sure, because actually you have 2 post-credit scenes in this movie, which I didn't know. I only knew about the first one. But like I said, I feel like the kid characters, yeah, they were hit and miss. They weren't always as interesting. I thought it was going to follow more about with Paul Rudd's character, who I thought was like the most entertaining character of the entire movie. But this movie also, when it comes like to the problems of the movie, this movie's a lot of copy-paste from the original movie, because you have the same villain as in the first movie. So you have a lot of the same tropes as in the first movie. If you have a same villain from a past movies, like I feel like you have to do something new. And the only difference that it is just it's not in New York, it's in this town. But it's the same villain who does the same thing. And I would say I was kind of disappointed with this villain, because like in the first one, yeah, the villain didn't do much, but in this one, the villain doesn't do shit. I mean, literally, he's just like, doesn't talk, doesn't do, it's just slow movements, and then shoots like Palpatine. I swear to God, it's like just like Palpatine. Unlimited power! That would be great if the bad guy was just like unlimited power, or have Palpatine show up as one of the ghosts. That would have been a great crossover. Just imagine like one of the ghosts just like Palpatine, unlimited power. Oh, I love that movie. That would be a lot of fun. It's still a good movie. It's not like a bad movie. Just like I said, some of the main characters that we spend too much time are alright, but not as interesting as, for example, other characters are. And when it comes to fan service, of course, you have some great fan service in this movie, and it was really done really great. Now also during the third act, there's something that happens, you know, like a tribute to one of the Ghostbusters. I'm not going to spoil it what it is, but I think that was such a beautiful tribute. It was such a touching scene. It was a very beautiful scene, everything that happened with it, and it's just, that was really done really great. And I was really scared when I was like, oh, they going for it, that, because I really think if they would have messed that up, that would kill like the whole movie. But like, no, they did a great job with it. It was a beautiful scene, it was a beautiful moment, and I really loved it much. And not to give too much away, but this movie that scene specifically, and this whole moment reminded me of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and where he is, you know, fighting against Voldemort, and you know what happens. If you know what happens then you know it's basically the same thing, like copy and paste. As soon as I thought that, I was like, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. it's the same thing. But it was still a beautiful moment. It was a very fan-serving moment when you have the original cast being there. Because of course they're gonna be there. Bill Murray is great. I mean, Ernie Hudson's great. Everybody's just being back, and I feel like I love the characters are still being the characters. They didn't change the characters. They still have their stakes, you know, they didn't like change. The dynamic between them is still great. I had fun with this movie. This movie was a great time, except for this clerk at the beginning. Who made us miss like the first 15 minutes of the damn movie, but then I found out later online what happens to it. But I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. Ghostbusters Afterlife, let me know what you think of the movie. Did you like it? Did you didn't like it? I know I personally liked it. It was definitely way better than the reboot we get. But this movie also, what I must say, is also in a lot of ways a reboot also. To really perfectly sum up this movie for me, this movie is like The Force Awakens. Because there are so many similarities from the original movie and this movie but with some new stuff in it. So it's basically The Force Awakens Ghostbusters movie. To really put perspective like how the movie is, like I said, it's Force Awakens. This is the Force Awakens of this franchise. Where, you know, it's some new stuff, but it's the same story with the same type of villain, the same type of setup, you know. But maybe in the sequel that they're gonna make, there's gonna be something different. But thanks everybody for watching, and as always, see you next time. Who you gonna call?